Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue. Welcome to Pathetically Unfiltered News and Reactions, Episode 6. Yes, it has been a few weeks since the election that I am sitting here recording Episode 6 after feeling that we were going to have a vice president that became president, and instead it went the other way around. Now, I'm not going to talk about any conspiracy theories about results or whatever, because it is what it is. And moving forward, it really is about how do we start taking the steps in order for us to keep our democracy and keep the crazies at bay. In the last few weeks, there has been a lot of people disconnecting from MAGA people once they found out who they voted for, which is quite understandable. There is a lot of chaos that seems to be involved with these people where they feel the need, oh, well, he won and he's your daddy. There's very how can I put this eloquently? Well, I'm not. There's just a sickness attached to it that is not normal. And this goes back again to that person who commented how, right, we have to stop normalizing things that are not normal. And he's the other way around. Yes, we need to stop normalizing things that are completely insane and chaotic. So before I get started and I share my screen with a little bit of Midas Touch News and just revisiting another video and sharing two separate videos from TikTok about people's reactions to why they have no empathy for people who voted for DT. I don't even want to say his name. His name just absolutely disgusts me. And I'm so glad that Midas is not playing any clips of him, because really, who wants to see that? It's kind of going to be unbearable. Well, not kind of, it's going to be unbearable to have to deal with him in the news and the parade and the circus of everything that's attached to him. So I am putting it out there to the universe and hoping for the best. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. This segment is about news and reactions. And again, I know I keep saying this. It's not going to be all about politics. I do want to dive into other things that are also newsworthy. But right now, this episode is just going to focus in on this. And hopefully episode 7 will talk about something else. And I am already making the notes for the new Unfiltered Rabbit Hole. So I do hope that you stay for that, because that is going to be another deep dive series on the history of ... Don't want to say what it is yet, but I do want to say it definitely will be something more than just that specific topic part. It's so intricate that I think I would definitely want to do a part 2 on that one, or 3 or 4. Well, we'll see how it goes. And if you are not new, welcome back and thank you for supporting this channel. Please do hit subscribe. If you have not subscribed yet, hit like, comment, because I would like to hear your thoughts on the topics that we will be talking about in this specific episode. So let's get started. Recent news, there has been a lot of poking fun at DT, the pics of his cabinet, which is complete and utter chaos. You have a lot of people who have, well, almost all of them who have no experience whatsoever. It's literally a shit show. I kid you not. But when you have a narcissist picking people, it really isn't about the people and the job that they can do. It's about the notoriety that they have, or the perspective of the public, the way they look at them as some kind of god or whatever. And there are people who look at DT as some form of a god, but that's a whole other topic that I might talk about on my coaching channel. So let's get started with this first video. It's called Total Implosion, and it's from the Midas Touch channel.
Donald Trump is destroying the lives of his voters, whether they realize it or not. name is Brett Meiselas with the Midas Touch Network. Be sure to hit subscribe and help us get to 4 million subscribers. Here is a Trump voter who is celebrating Trump's campaign promise to have no tax on overtime pay. She says, quote, "Me walking into the grocery store when that no tax on overtime goes into effect on my blue-collar husband's paycheck." Then a TikTok creator informs her that a Trump judge just got rid of President Biden's plan for overtime pay that benefited 4 million workers earning nearly $59,000 or less. Watch this. So apparently she missed the fine print on Trump's campaign promise that he said there'd be no tax on overtime because there would be no overtime. And if she's excited about that no tax on tips promise as well, this is probably a good time to remind her that the last time Trump was in office, he tried to push through a change to the Department of Labor policy inside a spending bill that would have, get this, allowed bosses to steal workers' tips. You heard that right. That was, of course, until the Democrats blocked it. And hopefully she won't need Medicaid or food stamps or any other government social safety net programs anytime soon. Per the Washington Post, Trump and his allies are looking at massive cuts to these programs in order to offset the cost of lower taxes for the ultra-rich.
Hey everyone, I wanted to share with you my servebox.com store just to show you a little bit of the soaps that I do sell on site. This is the Lavender Flowers soap bar. I know it's probably easier to see what these soaps look like. They are made by a certified vendor, and I love their company, the way they make their soaps, the way they cut the soaps. You get it specified how you want to cut them. So I make sure to get the biggest size ever, and they do last for a long time. That I will say. This scent is the Frank and Myrrh soap, and it literally smells like Frank and Myrrh. It's really, really good. It's good on your skin. It's all vegan. It's all natural. This is the raspberry lemonade soap, and it has like the swirls of raspberry on it. Put it here. And you know what? For a person who's not a big lemon fan, the lemon soaps smell spectacular. They are not overpowering scents. So if you're like sensitive, believe me when I tell you, this will not bother you, especially me that I live with migraines. And sometimes I can't wear certain perfumes or I can't smell certain perfumes because it will trigger a migraine. These are excellent for that. You don't ever have to worry about feeling that the scent will be overpowering, because it's not. This is actually new. This is the Holiday Sheer Soap, and it has a little bit of poppy seeds in it. And it smells absolutely spectacular. And this one is the Wild Flowers soap, also spectacular. It has this like clean scent. I don't even know how to describe it, but it smells so good that it's addicting. I really like it. And this one, it looks like it has little flowers in it. It's just spectacular. I really love this vendor. I ask you to please support small business. Shop servebox.com. There's plenty of soaps in there. There are scrubs there. There are lotions there. I'm running low in stock, but if I get enough orders for a specific product, I can go ahead and order it from the vendor. And I do hope you shop and support my business because it's very important to me. So thank you for supporting small business. Welcome back after that commercial break. So I look different. Yes. Different makeup, different hair, probably different blouse, different jewelry. Thanks to StreamYard, which this is the last time that I'm using this, all of my audio after I shared that screen was unusable. The audio was cracking. They gave me some BS about not to mute my mic. My physical microphone, I don't believe has a mute button. I use the mute button on their site. Unfortunately, what happened, which never happened before, was when I clicked back and I turned the mute option off, all of my audio was cracking, as you heard in that last video. So I am going to keep this very short because at this point, this is the last time I'm using them. I am going to sign up with another platform in the hopes that it will work much better and also is less expensive because I'm sorry, the money that they are charging per month is just not in my budget. I'm going to put my Cash App there for you to donate here directly because obviously right now my channel is not monetizing. So if you'd like to support this show, please take the time to donate to my Cash App or make a purchase on Surfbox. Either way, you are supporting this show. So let's get back to the topic at hand. The last video clip we were talking about was the girl busy dancing around because she thought, oh, no tax on overtime. And there was a judge who actually blocked overtime. So in other words, they will not be getting shit. Now, the idea of the overtime is basically it's that extra money that you get on top of your paycheck. I don't know what the percentage of it is. If you know, just put it in the comments below. Anyway, this whole thing with tax on tips, and I may have mentioned it in my last video, the one with the audio all broken up, that employers got into a habit of stealing the tips. Hence the reason why if I go to restaurants or wherever, I usually like to have a little bit of cash on me just for the sole purpose to be able to tip in cash and not put it on the card. Because there isn't a guarantee, even though you can put the percentage that the boss or the manager, whoever it is that's running the establishment, you don't know if he is evening out the tips so that everybody gets the same thing. It's kind of not fair because if a waitress was waiting on a customer that actually gave a very generous tip, why would that waitress want to share that money with somebody else? Now, of course, it's their own personal prerogative if they want to do that with a fellow coworker, but that is their choice. We seem to forget a lot of that these days. I'm really starting to notice before I introduce this new video in the hopes that I'm not going to put myself on mute, but in the hopes that my audio does not crack like it did before, people have gotten into this really rebellious attitude, saying all of this bullshit about Trump is your daddy. It's not enough that they won. It's the whole attitude of being spiteful and being rebellious and not realizing that they were spiteful to themselves. They weren't spiteful to anybody else. You're not owning anybody else. Nobody is going to be squealing. These people that are supposedly top-notch nomination choices, they are the worst people on the planet. They have no scruples. They have no manners. They do not possess anything that has to do with being a kind person. They just want to act on rebellion because they are bigots. It's that simple. Now, because of all of this, that has caused a lot of separation, which was the whole topic to this video. There has been a lot of separation between friends and families. I have deleted a shitload of people off of my Facebook because the timeline was literally one garbage post after another, making fun of a vice president. Like, why would you do that? This is the thing that has bothered me for many, many years, not just because of Kamala Harris, but because of people in politics, in high positions, and these low-level basement dwellers want to sit there and poke fun at other people. Meanwhile, you're like a fucking security guard at the welfare office. So how are you better than anybody else? Explain that to me. Clearly not. So you have a lot of families that do not want anything to do with their other family members, whether it's children, whether it's grandchildren, cousins, however anybody is related. Now, I'm recording this after Thanksgiving, and we did have family here, so I had to put pause on recording this particular girl. She actually put it very well, and I like how she put it. You say to yourself, where do you find the empathy and compassion? Because I feel I'm very empathetic, I'm very compassionate. I feel for people when they're not in a good place, But then it comes to a point where if you do something on purpose, or I find out you were not a good friend after all of my empathy, all of my compassion goes out the window. I have and feel nothing for you. You could be standing next to me and I will make you feel as if you do not exist, not just in my world, but in the world, period.
you just, you gotta be fucking kidding me. If you get deported, oh well. Your kids can't get free lunch at school anymore. Oh well. Your wife is fighting for her life after a miscarriage. Oh well. When he gives Netanyahu the bombs to finish y'all. Oh well. When ICE starts going door to door to collect your family members. Oh well. When you can't get divorced from your abusive husband. Oh well. When your family can't make a child, but you can't get IVF. Oh well. When your son or your daughter can't marry the person they love. Oh well. When you can't marry someone because they're not the same race as you. Oh well. When you're forced to have a baby that you didn't plan nor want. Oh well. When you can't get any of your social services funded. Oh well. When your family loses their medical insurance. Oh well. When your daughter is forced to have the child of the person who assaulted her. Oh well. Oh well. When your grandmother can't pay for her diabetes medicine anymore. Oh well. You didn't get up and go vote. Or you voted for someone who took all these things away from you. So, oh well. You got exactly what you asked for. And I don't care.
Now, seriously, it she has come to the place that I have truly come to. I have had a concern about a particular family member who I suspect voted the wrong way. And my whole thing is, if you did that, keep in mind what you did to your mother. If you did that, the mere fact of what you saw with your physical eyes and may have turned the other way is disgusting, and shame on you. And hopefully, you will get exactly what you deserve and more. And this is what it's really come to with a lot of people. Now, I'm going to read something. Like I said, I'm going to keep this very short because I was just really pissed off with what happened with StreamYard. But there was something that I wanted to read of a woman who used to sponsor me back when I was living in New York City. She was a very good sponsor and now she's a very good friend. And she wrote this out of the same sheer disgust of what I was going through and what anybody was going through in their Facebook timeline and seeing all of this rhetoric bullshit. Like people just couldn't get enough of themselves. And it wasn't even that. But like I said before, the sheer disrespect for people who choose a career in politics, but you are the basement dweller who aspires to be nothing, having a say so in a well educated person. There was even a guy who I deleted and blocked, and he had the nerve to come on and follow me on my Instagram, which I removed him from my Instagram. He even sent me a message. I don't want to read your fucking messages. Because you know what? You are a fucking clown. Look at yourself. All of your pictures in your Instagram, you look like a damn clown who hasn't taken a bath in a couple of years. So don't come to me in my inbox having to explain yourself, making fun of a vice president and then voting for your less best interest. And believe me, I know your ass is poor. So don't come to me with bullshit. But I'm going to read you what my old sponsor wrote. This is my final post, and I'm going to try to move on after today. There have been moments I've just wanted to post. If you voted for Trump, please unfriend me. I have not done that. Although I have deleted many because I would prefer not to see your rhetoric on my news feed. That being said, and the main crux of this post, crooks. If you did vote for him, I'm acutely aware that no words of mine or anyone else's could possibly hope to reach you. His astonishing list of transgressions have been full on display for all of us to see for several years. So to point out any specific one would be utterly futile, as you certainly already know. I could say he's self-confessed serial sex offender, but you already know that. So it must not matter to you. I could remind you that he was found liable for sexual abuse by a jury, but you know that also. And it obviously doesn't matter to you. I could say he thinks climate change is a hoax and he will remove, or at least try to remove, the US from all efforts to curb carbon emissions. But you already know that too. And you voted for him regardless. So that clearly doesn't matter to you. I could assert the glaringly obvious facts that he is a pathological liar and a malignant narcissist, that he's known for ripping off contractors, being infatuated with dictators, cheating on his wives, and bankrupting casinos. It really doesn't matter which specific thing I could focus on from the extensive list of disgraces and embarrassments. As you all know, all of it already. And none of this matters to you. Or at the very least, none of that matters to you as much to what? The price of eggs? The cost of filling your car with gasoline. You really believe that the guy who declared bankruptcy 6 times is going to improve the economy? Do you really believe that all of the respectable economists are wrong and that the guy who clearly doesn't understand how tariffs work is magically going to save you money? Even if the economy does improve and costs do decrease, out of curiosity, how cheap do eggs have to get in order for you to consider sexual abuse as an acceptable compromise? How much do gas prices have to go down in order for you to reconcile in your own mind being pro life when you're simultaneously happy for women to be refused medical intervention while they're bleeding to death in a hospital parking lot, or when you're insistent that child victims of incest rape be forced to give birth? I'm fully aware it won't scratch the surface of your delusion, so spare us both the wasted energy of response you may be formulating in your mind right now. I won't read it and it will be deleted. We are so fundamentally different on every level, morally in particular, that even the vaguest agreement or common ground seem out of reach. If you don't already see that he's a bad person, I can't help you see it. I don't want to be so pedantic as to unfriend, unfollow, or block anyone, but I have done so and I'm prepared to do so because your support of this despicable human is so selfish and so negatively consequential to others that it's truly difficult to respect you. The negative side of me hopes that you personally feel the full force of the decision you've made and that all comes crashing down on you. The lighter side of me hopes that someday, somehow, you'll evolve sufficiently to be capable of feeling the shame and embarrassment befitting your recent choice. But sincerely and regretfully, I doubt that you ever will. This is the reason why I had this lady sponsoring me. She helped me discover things about myself, parts about myself that I thought I was hiding from the world, and I was not. She put the work into me because she knew that I wanted to change. Hence the reason why I'm sitting here 33 years later, clean and sober, because I put in the work every day. I mean, you have this ass clown over here.
Vote for Kamala Harris or Putin? Who do you choose? Putin.
Really? Why?
Absolutely. He's for his people. He is for his people.
You don't think Kamala is?
Oh, hell no.
Interesting. So you think the country would be better off under a rule like a Kim Jong-un or somebody, or Vladimir Putin?
Hey, I love Russia.
Remember, I featured this idiot before. I highly doubt she has enough money to even go on a fucking vacation. And she's talking about a country that she's never visited before. And she's praising somebody who I don't think he cares about his people. And neither does Trump. Trump only cares about lining his pockets, skimming from the top.
Do I?
Yeah, it's beautiful. The people are wonderful.
What are your main sources of news?
It's okay. I have
Clown
numerous
News Network.
sources of news, but I don't watch mainstream.
What do you watch?
Okay.
Russia Today?
Russia Today? No, never heard of that.
What do you watch?
You see what I'm talking about? The sheer stupidity. I've never heard of that. No, of course not, because you're too busy being stupid. You're too busy looking up information, critically thinking. That is the problem here. Now, writing on a comment that somebody had posted on my one of the Pathetically Unfilters, I forget which one, that he was talking about. You're right. We all need to critically think. And of course, his comment went sideways because this is a person who does not critically think. He wants to switch things around because that's what they're doing. No, that's not what you're really watching. They like to gaslight these people. If they're not trying to gaslight you, they are trying to turn things around, project their bullshit onto you because they don't want to take responsibility for themselves. Now, I know this is a little bit different of Pathetically Unfiltered. This is not really a news and reaction thing. And especially considering a lot of things that have been going on between what happened during election time and now. And hopefully at some time I will cover. But there are also other news things that I want to cover. And I want to put comical things into here other than this stupid ass clown talking about how Putin is for his people. Because we all know that the real daddy who owns Trump is Putin. And he is putting the United States at risk because he is an asshole. It's that simple. And in the words of Jace, who I follow on TikTok, from now on, anyone with common sense will refer to him as Convict Trump. And that's what I will be calling him from now on because he is no president of mine. And other countries see it. They all know he's a clown. And we are all standing with the other countries that know he's a stupid ass clown too.
Disruption and uncertainty and his erratic approach is all part of his modus operandi. It's a feature, not a bug.
Scotland's cultural and social ties with the US will flourish during the presidency of a misogynist, a climate denier, a fraudster, a conspiracy monger, a racist, a far-right politician who tried to overturn an election result both covertly and by inciting violence. Words fail me. What social and cultural ties does the First Minister really think will benefit from a relationship with such a man?
And you know what? If you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. That's because you are on that side. And hopefully at some point you will figure it out, although I won't bet on it. So I hope that you like the message that my sponsor put out because it is definitely food for thought. If you are a person who realized that you made a mistake and you are looking to change, I do offer coaching services on maribelblue.com. They are not free. And I would love to hear your comments. Are there family members? Are there friends that you have cut yourself off from? And how are you feeling about that? Because there are people who had long time relationships with other people and have had to cut them off as a result of what has transpired on November 5th. And it really has hurt people because for a long time, people thought, wow, we are on the same page. And then you find out that you're not. There is one person that I do speak to, and I'm speaking to him sparingly because I know where he stands. I don't know if he feels bad, but I don't feel like I trust him anymore. And that's very sad to know that. This is a person that I've known since the MySpace days. So, yeah, things like this really broke up friendships, longtime friendships and relationships. And for those who still believe that this is about Republicans versus Democrats, no. Just in that letter that I read, this really is about morality versus being unethical. So if you're on the unethical side, it makes it very easy for me to cut you off. So with all that being said, this is Maribel Blue signing off. As always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.